Welcome to the OFX podcast. I'm Dave Claxton. Along with me, as always, is our resident badass in a boot, Bethany McChesney. And today we have from UK, I don't know, still UK, you can tell you what relationship you have to Hyrox because it's complicated. Emma Waring, and from Germany, Flo, captain of the Flo Nuts. And Bethany, how do you say the last name?
Kowalczyk.
What? Did she get it? How close was it? She got it right the first time.
It was super close.
Okay, what is it?
Please tell it again.
Kowalczyk.
It was perfect.
If
like 99%.
It would have been really, really bad if I did it. Thank you both for coming. So what we're going to do today, we're going to talk a little bit beforehand, and then we're going to do what's called a snake draft. This is a preview show for Hyrox Worlds, and we're going to do a snake draft where we all pick our individual athletes and see afterwards, after the big event, who has the best team. And judging from what I've just seen, it's going to be Emma. So first, Emma, why don't we start with you? And what I wanted to start with actually was who is not going. Now, you're in a different situation because the UK, Hyrox just got to the UK, correct?
Yeah, so Hyrox haven't actually done an event in the UK yet because it was due to launch last year. So the first one is London on the 25th of September. So we haven't actually had an event in the UK for people from the UK to qualify for the World Championships, although the VCF allowed some qualifications.
And we saw a couple of people on the list specifically jumped out, and I'm not sure if either one has done a live Hyrox before. We think Jade has Jade Skillen. So
she has. She did Hanover in January 2020. Yeah.
And how did that go for her?
I think Jade will fully admit that she had the shock of her life, finished it and said, never again am I putting myself through it. But loved it so much that came away and just wanted to improve and make it her part of her focus. So I think I don't know what she actually scored in where she placed in Hanover, but I know she didn't do as well as she probably wanted to. She went in pro women. She's a Spartan racer, so she's Spartan pro team in the UK. It was a couple of weeks that she had to be able to get her head around what the event was. It was a last minute decision. She went out there and absolutely loved it. And then in the last kind of 18 months, she's completely focused her training around Hyrox. And yeah, it shows. She's doing really well.
She is fit. She's like super fit. And I'm pretty sure that whatever that last time was is not very relevant at all to what she's capable of right now. And then also we saw Tom Hogan from Ireland. He's headed over now. I don't know Tom, but his name's really familiar to me. And I think he was in the VCF as well.
He was.
I remember.
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah. He came second overall in the men's equipment division, which meant that he qualified for the Elite Invitational in Dallas. But because the NIE didn't allow him the opportunity to travel due to the restrictions, it meant that he couldn't go and compete in the Dallas Invitational. So, but there's a really lovely story around Tom's involvement in Hyrox. He comes from an endurance ultra running background, so he's always done lots and lots of running, and he got to the point where he didn't have the time to get the miles in his legs every week because they'd got children. So him and his wife Dina are both like I think she's done probably 5 Ironman competitions. They both do endurance stuff, and he's represented for ultra running and mountain running. He's gone to the World Championships and the European Championships and things. So he's a great runner. So they thought, we're going to have to leave this endurance stuff and look for something that's going to give us the same kind of kick, but something that takes less time. So they looked at CrossFit, but the gymnastics element didn't suit them. And then Tom found Hyrox. So he bought a mixed doubles entry for his wife's Christmas present for Hanover in Germany. So they went over to Germany, they went over to Hanover in January 2020, did mixed doubles, won it, absolutely loved it. Then they entered, obviously we're hoping that it was coming to the UK, didn't because of COVID taking over the world, and they entered the VCF and both did really well in the VCF. So he's the wild card.
Yeah, he might actually, with that kind of engine, he might actually be pretty decent. Like that I'll have to remember that. So we'll go over to Flo's side of the world. So Flo, you are in Germany, correct?
Correct.
And I guess what we'll start with you is some of the big names, and I think one jumps out right away is who's not going to be there.
Luke Storrat. Lucas Storrat, like the most of the guys know him as Luke Fit. He's not competing in Leipzig. That's because, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yes. Okay, that's because of some other private priorities. He moved with his family to another town. They sold their old house. They bought a new house, and that's the reason why he won't compete in Leipzig.
That's too bad, man, because he's a guy that would obviously be a definitive podium threat. Like,
yeah, and I would say it's a little bit hard to say, but I think, that's my personal opinion, he's the only one who's capable of beating Hunter McIntyre.
Yeah, I don't think that's that's a pretty popular opinion. What about the women's side? Is there any, because I noticed Sarah Colty's going to be there, Imke's going to be there. Is there anyone from the women's side who won't be making it?
No, I don't think so. I think all the German high-level elite women will be there. So Imke is a little bit surprising that she will be there, because she didn't compete like over 2 years now in Hyrox. I think 1.5 to 2 years. Mm-hmm. She has been invited to the Elite 12 event in Hamburg, but she couldn't compete because of some injuries she had at that time. But this time she will compete, and it will be super exciting to see her level of fitness compared to, like, for example, Viola Oberländer.
Mm-hmm. Viola's been training hard. I've been watching her.
She is, I would say, she is the female side of Dylan Scott. Both of them are pushing volume through the moon. If you watch them on Instagram, it's like 4 hours of a bike ride, 26 hours of a swim, straight into 6 million squats. Like crazy stuff like that. Super high volume training.
Was talking with my wife today, and I said, of all the people I would never want as a trainer, it would be Dylan Scott, because I would be dead in a week and a half.
Yes.
It's insanity. We had him on, and the volume. I can say one other important thing from Germany is the most important guy from Germany going is Flo Nuts himself. Flo, how is your preparation? Are you ready?
I am, absolutely. I will compete in the normal event in the normal season event in the men's pro division. I guess I will start at 11 or 11:10. And yeah, let's see what's going to happen. My training was perfect the last weeks. So last, I would say 6 to 8 weeks, I did double days, like training in the morning, training in the evening. My running game is pretty good. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to smash it and to perform very good.
Do you have a specific goal? Do you have a time in mind?
Yes, I do.
Well, please do share.
I don't share that.
Hopefully you get it. All right. So Beth, why don't you take away some of the ladies who's not going to be there from this side of the pond?
Yeah, so we have a few ladies that won't be there, some for obvious reasons. So Faye and Rebecca Hammond has gone off to her residency. Faye Stenning hasn't really been competing lately. She's been focusing on her business. So those are two big names who've been at the top of Hyrox. And then Morgan Scholes as well. And she's dealing with an injury right now. And so she hasn't been competing in a while. And then we're also missing Sam Briggs, who was at that Elite 12 event as well. And so I don't know if Hyrox has been a focus of hers, or if that was a one-off for her, but she's someone who we'd really like to see back in the Hyrox arena.
I want to see Sam Briggs do anything. Sam Briggs is just awesome. And I've said it before, like she would probably be the most intimidating person to compete against at any event. Just frightens the hell out of me. And yet I think she's great. But for the guys too, we have obviously Isaiah Vidal, and probably the biggest, and I put him up there with Lucas, is Ryan Kent. And Ryan, again, I thought he was going to make it. We had him on the show. He was iffy about it, and then came out that he wasn't going to make it. And that's a little disappointing because I think, that would have been a good show. I wanted to see him and Lucas go head to head. I thought that would have been fantastic. But there are a ton of really good people going. So what we're going to do as part of this, and we'll go through as we talk about our picks, we'll talk about who they are and why they're going to be there and why we picked them. We're going to do what's called a snake draft. So I've already called out the order. I did it randomly, and I know you don't believe me, but I did, and it's proof because I'm last. But Bethany will go first, then Emma, then Flo, then me. And you're just essentially, what you're going to do is you're going to pick the person you think is going to do the best. And then once we get down to me, then I pick again, and it goes back up. And we're going to do 4 rounds of that. So by the time we get to that 4th round, we're going to be throwing some darts. So if you guys are ready, we'll start right away with Bethany. And if
are we starting with men or women?
It's whoever you want. You pick whoever you want.
Oh.
So it's men and women are all thrown together. So that's what I mean. So.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to take Hunter then.
Foolish. Why would you do such a strange thing?
I don't know. So weird.
All right. So tell people a little bit about Hunter. Why you take him?
Hunter is undefeated in Hyrox. He is the world record holder, obviously, for men. And as it looks right now, he might have some guys pushing him, but I still think he's going to take the win in this one.
That was a really nice way to say he's the most dominant person at all at this ever. All right, so that's Beth. So Emma, you're up.
Can I take
Viola,
tricky. Please?
It's already
Can
tricky.
I take Viola, please, for me?
Viola. Wow. Okay.
Sorry, Flo.
No problem.
All right. So why Viola? Because I didn't think you were going there, but.
Just because I've been looking at all her stats, and she's so consistent on her running. And if we go back to, I know she hasn't done anything since the Elite 12, but I've seen her training. And like Flo says previously, her volume is just crazy. The things that she can put herself through, the pain that she can get into, her stats, and her times. I specifically looked at the sled push, the burpee broad jumps, and the wall balls, which tend to be the 3 things that make a difference and impact the running. She's got really good times on those. But I think she's in Germany. She's not had to travel as such, like some of the Americans. And I think following the Elite 12, where she was leading for so long, and was nearly pipping Lauren, I'm backing Viola. Yeah.
Wow. I'm a little surprised, but I can't argue. It's a good pick. I was surprised because her overall finisher time, there's other ones ahead of that, but I'm not going to say too much because, I don't get to pick yet. So, all right, Flo, who do you got?
Okay, I'll go back to the men's side, and I'll take Tobias Loudwine.
Now that one, I'm not surprised. I had you pegged for that. All right, tell us about Tobias, man.
First of all, he's a good friend of mine, and I have to support him. Secondly, he is one of the most experienced Hyrox athletes in the field, and he is, I would say, when it comes to running only, he is the best runner in the field. He is a super good and well experienced runner. And third one, he is hungry as.
Is that why he's always eating when he's doing the runs?
Yes, that's the reason. Yes,
he's the only one that I've seen constantly fueling during the race. Well, at least
he just found his passion in Hyrox, and that's the thing he loves to do. And I think he is the man who will give Hunter a shot.
The thing about it too, I find with him, and he's another guy that is kind of like Dylan Scott in a deceptive way. They're both deceptively strong. Like you wouldn't look at them and think that they can move that sled at that pace, yes. but there they are, right? They're just a different mold. So I'm impressed. So I get to pick twice now because I'm at the bottom. All right, and then we go back up. So I'm kind of excited because I didn't think she'd be here, but I'm taking Rachel Vonderack because she's absolutely amazing. And she's a really good buddy. I'm going with the same idea as Flo. You got to pick your buddies. But I feel the last one coming off the US Championship, she had a rough go there. She had some IT band issues. In her first race, though, she nearly broke the record, and had no idea what she was walking into. She was also, for the US thing, she was dealing with the CrossFit Games preparation. She was dealing with her wedding. She had a million things going on. Since then, she has been wide open to prepare for this. And I think Rachel is going to go in, and I think Rachel is going to beat the record as well. But don't listen to this, Rachel, because I don't want any pressure on you. You can listen to it after. So Rachel Vonderack is my pick. Oh, and I wrote down the wrong for you. And then me here. And then my second one, almost on the same logic, because I figure this is tricky because it's hard. Almost the same logic, a bounce back effort. I'm going to go with David Magida, because I think, again, he's going to bounce back. And I'm going with people I really love. But it's hard because there's so many.
I know.
Rachel Vonderack and David Magida for me.
Oh, you're up.
So me again?
Yeah, so now we go
back up. Okay.
Back up.
Yeah.
I will take from the female side, I'll take Rebecca Aneta.
Okay, hold on here. You're taking Rebecca.
Yes.
Aneta. Oh, there she is. Rebecca Aneta. Okay. Tell us about Rebecca.
Well, she is the second place. She placed second in the World Championships 2019. And since then, she did a lot with her running game. So I think she came in as I would say she came in faster than in the last World Championships and the previous events. So, and she is like Tobias Loudwine, super hungry. She found her passion in Hyrox. She absolutely loves it, and she dreams to win an Hyrox event since 2017. And she's a friend of mine as well. That's why I'll pick Rebecca. And she is super strong. You don't see that, but I would say she's one of the strongest women in the field.
Yeah, no, she's someone that we wouldn't have heard as much about. And again, I just judging by straight times, a little surprised that she came up early. But see, this is where you guys are seeing so many things different than we have seen. All right. Now you have to pick twice here, Em.
What?
Let's go.
Sorry,
no,
my bad. Emma, you're up. You pick one, yeah.
I want to go with Jade next. Jade Skillen. I'm going for the UK.
You know, I almost picked her just to tick you off.
I edged my bets because I wanted Viola, and I just thought maybe they won't pick Jade, but somebody will pick her. So I'm going to go with Jade second. I've been sat here with my fingers crossed under the desk. So.
All right. So you talked about her a little bit before, but why do you think Jade's going to come in so well?
I know what level of training she's been doing. She's so focused. She's an ex-professional footballer, so she knows what elite sport is about. And she's obviously done Spartan Pro and stuff like that, but her engine is so strong. She's been building and building and building. And the thing she's been focusing on is her running. She's only little. She's probably 5 foot. She's only really small. But her strength and her heart, I think she's going there with an intention of doing as well as she can do and putting everything out there on the line. And I think being from the UK, I've got to back her. So I want Jade on my team. That's
awesome. I can't. I've seen Jade workouts and I spoke with her. She is fantastic and she will do really, really well. So, all right, Beth, now you get to pick twice. Now I haven't screwed it up.
Okay. Well, I'm going to pick Lauren Weeks. I don't know how I get both world record holders, but so Lauren is the current world record holder. Consistently performs well at Hyrox. So I don't think there's any, I'm not really taking any big risks here picking Lauren. And it seems to be your training is going well, injury free, which is always a good thing. So ready to give it a good go. And then I'd like to pick Dylan Scott.
Bethany. That was my next one. No problem.
Yeah, also such a beast. We interviewed him and I'm just so in awe of his workouts. And I think he's really zoned in now for this after that last competition. So I'd really like to see how he does on this one. So I'm going to pick him then for my third.
You know what I will say too about Lauren Weeks too? She's been competing a lot in Spartan lately, and her running is really dialed in. She's doing a lot more running than usual, so she could be a lot faster there. And I mean, we talked about Dylan. That he's unreal. Like, and so fun. Like you said, he was a blast. He's just hilarious. And Flo, I hope you get a chance. And are you actually going to be at Worlds? Or are you going to get a chance to go over there?
No, I'm not going to be there, unfortunately. I've got another event on that day that I've got to go to. So yeah,
if you get a chance, Flo, to talk to him, I don't know if you've had him on your interviews. He's amazing. He's so fun.
Yes, of course.
All right, Emma, pick 3. Well, you're
okay.
Pick 1.
So some of them that I was going to go for, Dylan Scott was one of them. Bethany's had. So looking at the rest of the statistics, some of the other racers haven't raced for quite some time, so probably 18 months. So some of their stats are probably not as current as what they would be for this weekend. So based on that, I'm going to go for Tom Hogan. I'm going for Ireland and sticking with my team on the basis that he's unproven. He's going out there. He has no pressure on his shoulders. He's a great runner. He can run and run and run, but he's also really strong. So I'm going with Tom, sticking with what I potentially know.
A home team.
Yes.
So now you've got all the UK. Now you're going to be lost on the next one.
Unless Flo beats me with something. I've got somebody in mind, but I don't know whether he'll take it.
All right, Flo, let's see your pick.
My next one is Joshua Wichtrup. He is the very first German athlete who went to the CrossFit Games. He is the fittest CrossFit athlete in Germany. He already won some Hyrox events, and he is a guy from my hometown. So that's why I'll pick him.
Now I have him down written as a 61.51 for a time. So is that, to the best of your knowledge, is that right? That's
so yes, and I would say his goal is to go sub 1 hour.
All right, well, we're going to talk about some of that after. It's crazy when I looked at some of these. Anyway, some of the times we'll talk about after. But so I have 2 picks now, and then I am done. And I really wanted Lauren Weeks was one I really wanted, but that's okay. That's okay. I missed it. I'm going to go, and I don't know a lot about this guy. Actually, no, you know what? I'm changing my mind midstream, and I'm doing this because everybody forgets about him. I'm going with, even though he doesn't have as high a time as I think he could, I'm going with the land shark, Brent Hastert. I could never say his last name, but Brent never gets any credit. He always gets left off. Even on my list, he's the last guy on the list. So we're going with Brent. He's on the team. I want him there. And he's gonna surprise everybody. He came in that US one and did 75 straight wall balls at the end to pass David Magida for the 3rd place finish. I mean, he can throw down. He's not just a throw on guy. And then one more I need, and I'm gonna go with former world record holder Sarah Colty for obvious reasons. Sorry, Flo. Yeah, I know. You thought I was sleeping, right? You thought I was just going with people.
Yeah.
But no. Going with Sarah Colty, and I've seen lately, not one, we know she's super strong, she's super great at Hyrox, but she's been doing what seems like a lot of biking and Ironman style training, so her endurance looks like it's at a very high level. So yeah, Sarah Colty is my final pick, and I'm kind of surprised I got her there, and apparently so is Flo.
But I would say Sarah Colty is a bad pick. She did a full Ironman last week.
That's okay. That's a warm-up, man. She's just
relaxed.
Information.
I think she will be very tired. So I'll pick Imke Zalander. The
Take-
next German Imke Salander, the next Imke, the next German athlete, and she is the first Hyrox world female world champion. And I think she still has it in her legs. So that's my pick.
No,
She's going to be my next one.
she is too busy being an Instagram model. She does not have time.
We will see.
All right, Emma, your last pick.
Okay, I'm going to go with Flo. You can probably correct me if this pronunciation is incorrect. I don't even know how I'm going to get it wrong because it looks so simple. Linda Meyer?
Yeah, the German pronunciation would be Linda Meyer.
Meyer. Okay,
Yes.
Linda Meyer, please.
Okay, and why Linda? What do you got information there?
She competed in Essen and came second. Within that, she did 8 runs. 8 of her 1 kilometers were under 4 minutes 30, and her fastest lap was 3 minutes 16. So yeah, and I think she's a really good runner, and from what I can see, she's been working a lot on her strength. And her sled push in Essen, where she came second behind Sarah Colty and just above Petra Henkel, her sled push was 2:16, her burpee broad jumps were 3:53, and her wall balls were the one thing that let her down at 5 minutes 27. So with those 8 runs all under 4:30, one of them at 3:16, and still getting a time of 1 hour 12, it looks like she's been working really hard, and I think she stands a good chance. So I'm going with Linda.
Now I'm going to poke a hole in that theory for a second. I'm going to pull a little flow here. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but was it in Essen when they had like that sled that everybody got a really good time on?
Yeah.
Like,
No, it was Leipzig.
which event was that? Because I remember just seeing some of the sled times for that being like a minute and going, what? Like,
yeah, I don't think it was Essen, because there's a sled push time of 1:50 for Dieter Schwarzkopf, whatever it is, and a sled push time for Martin. I don't know his surname. Flo, help me out.
Dieter Schwarzkopf and Martin Michelius.
That's the one. Yes, they're the ones. So they've got 1:50 and 1:26, and that was in the same location as this weekend, although I'm assuming that they will have rectified they'll be on the same carpet as it's always been. It's just that one event that was, and whereas that was in Essen. So unless they had the same carpet there, I don't know. But yeah, I'm going for Linda.
all right, Beth, last pick.
Oh, my picks are gone. This gets tricky here. I think I'm going to go with a bit of a wild card. I'm going to go with Marcus Friesen, who was part of that Elite 12 group. I don't know much about his stats, but I'm looking at a little bit of experience and then just coming at it with something to prove here.
All right, maybe you can tell us a little bit about Marcus Flo.
No, he's not in my team, so I won't tell anything.
I can tell you a little bit about Marcus. Sorry, jumping in, but he came last, didn't he, at Elite 12, having never done a Hyrox event, but he came through on the VCF. And then at that event, that it was sponsored by MyZone, so he was given an MZ3. I've connected with him on MyZone, and all of the training that he is doing, I think that's a really good choice, Bethany, because looking at what he's doing on MyZone, I can't believe I missed him off my list, to be honest. So, and also coming back from the Elite 12, having not done enough running, he's focused on his running, and coming into this, he knows who he's competing against, because he's competed against them before. But yeah, he looks like he's put a lot of training in.
Nobody won that.
And a good point for Marcus is he was in a training camp with Tobias Loudwine, with my buddy, so it's okay. It's a good choice.
Now.
It's not the best. It's not the best choice, but it's okay.
Who would you have taken with the last? I got to know now, Flo. Who would you have taken with the last pick?
Me?
Yeah, because it wasn't the best choice apparently, Bethany. So we got to find out who was the best choice.
I would say Martin Michelius.
That's just because you're the only one who can say his name.
Yeah.
Just say Martin. That's it. That's okay. Martin Michelius, he's really good in training. He's in a great shape right now, and he is a super fast runner, and his conditioning is, and his engine, his overall engine is one of the best, I guess.
All right. So before we review who everybody got, and that was the end of our picks, I want to go through and I want to ask, especially Emma and Flo, something here. So what I've noticed, and I have everybody's times here, and we all kind of varied. I mean, if you were to just pick the best times going, our lists would look very, very different. But what occurred to me and what I've seen is, for example, I use somebody like Alex Ronkovic, who came over for the Invitational, who, I mean, has a 62:29 for a best time. But then he came over here and had essentially a 70-minute, just over 70 minutes. Do you think that there's a difference, a large difference in the setups between the way they have Hyrox set up in the UK and the way they've done it in North America? And I will start with you, Flo.
That's a good question. I think the biggest problem is the traveling itself. So you came in with a jet lag, you came in really tired from the flight, from the whole travel stuff. So it's not easy to answer that question. I would say the setup is the same.
Yeah.
The problem is the traveling. Traveling, like you are going to a flight for 12 hours or 13 hours plus, and then you have a jet lag, what really tires you, and that's what I think is just the biggest problem.
All right, now, and by that same token, though, and I played devil's advocate on the other side, but when we had Hunter and Lauren go over for the Elite 12, they both came out with good wins on that one, but they were there longer, were they not?
I think they arrived both on Wednesday, on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah.
A few days before, not that much, but yeah, like enough to get that jet lag out of you.
And I mean, maybe Emma, you want to comment on this? Like, I think we're not one of the things I like to do when trying to find picks and trying to decide who is head to head, and that's something we're not able to do here. So when you were running through, because you have some extensive data there, how did you account for different sides of the world?
I was looking at it and just thinking to myself that this is only really a slight indication of what people are capable of, because actually on the day, like Flo says about travel and stuff like that, but on the day, there's no accounting for how people react to a big situation. And I think we can look at all the data, and when it comes to the actual day and the moment that they're told to go, it's who can really put it down on that for that 1 hour, and not be unnerved. Going back to the Dallas Invitational, where Hunter was pushing that sled and he was almost cat and mousing with David. It was forcing him to go faster, making him think that he could catch him up. And those kind of mind games as well. It's who can cope with that, who can go and run their own race with their own strategy and not be derailed by what's going on around them. I think the race will be pretty much the setup will be exactly the same. They're going with the 4 lots of 12.5 meter sled pull and sled push, 2 laps of the event arena for the 1,000 meters, 2 lots of 500. So I think all of that is the same. It's who's got the mental ability to put everything into play that they've been training for.
So, and now Beth, I'll go to you because you have experience with this, and this is something I've never really understood. So you come from a track background, and Hyrox is somewhat similar to the track background where it's supposed to be the same thing every time. How is it, like when we talk about OCR, it's easy to imagine, you know, the cat and mouse game, the going out fast, the trying to encourage people to run, because every course is different and everything's laid out different, hills, terrain. With Hyrox being the same and track being the same, how is it that you get caught up in something like that and you don't just run your same race every time?
Well, I think what happens though is if you're confident in your running ability and someone goes out hard, let's say, like we saw this at the one race where Renee Medivier was there and she went out in a 3:15 first kilometer. So some of the girls who are more confident in their running, like Rebecca, they went with her. So it's easier to run with someone and latch yourself onto their back, let's say, mentally and physically, it's easier. So if there's someone that's going, if you can kind of latch onto them, then it takes a little bit less energy. So those are situations where if someone's going, you might as well just try to go with them than to try to just totally let them go. And so it's kind of like using their strength to help you. So you kind of work with the field a little bit, I guess. So that's where you can't just totally run your own race.
See, I would think in something like Hyrox, it wouldn't matter as much as long as you're hitting your marks, your sections. I'm coming through. Say I want to do 4 minutes every 1,000 meters. I hit my 4 minute. I do my sled pull, my push, whatever, and then I go on. I would try it if I was doing it. I would try to run
with someone. Yeah, it's like when you lose contact with someone, it feels harder to make up that difference if you can't make it up in the station. So if you're a runner, if that's your strength, then it's easier to try to maintain contact during the run portions than to even let them get a few meters ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. I think back to, again, this is very different, but recently Bethany and I had a competition against each other. And right off the bat, we had to do lunges. And the first thing I was doing was I am not looking at what she's doing because I know if I try to keep up with her, I'm not even going to finish the next section. So that's just the way I look at it. I would try to do that whole race with blinders on. And I think that's what, I mean, that was, like you said, Emma, that was David McGee's fault. Not his fault, but his mistake in the first race was getting caught up thinking, I'm racing him now. I'm gonna mentally break him.
Yeah. This is where it's going to get interesting though with athletes who've never competed against each other because you don't know what another girl's strength is in comparison to yours. So sometimes you might just try to hang with them and see if you can because you don't really know if that's their best station or their worst. So you kind of take risks sometimes.
I think it's going to be an amazing race. I can't wait to see it. And I have heard there is going to be a live stream. I don't know if either of you have heard that or can confirm that, but I heard today there will be a live stream. We'll see.
I haven't heard anything. Flo, have you?
I didn't, but I read it. I think there will be a live stream. Yes.
Yeah, I would be surprised. I mean, it's right in, it's like hometown, right? I would be surprised if there wasn't. And I really hope there is. I think they do an amazing job on it. I thought back to I know it wasn't live, but the Elite 12, they did such a good job on it. That was so enjoyable to watch. I hope they do. If I was to go back and you were to go back and say, and just one person that you had really hoped you would have been able to pick, actually, you know what, let's even do it a little bit different. Flo, tell me who you now think, who's going to be the top three for men and women. Now that you're listed, done your pick. There's no hiding.
Wait a second. Just start with Emma. I have to search it.
Okay.
So men.
Yeah.
Top three. I'm going. I can't decide between Tobias and Dylan Scott for second and third. I can't decide, but Hunter is my top. I think somebody's going to have to really bring it to beat Hunter. But I'm going Hunter, Tobias, Dylan. 1, 2, 3.
That's not too bad.
On the men. The women. Oh gosh, this is so difficult. It's so difficult because the data only really gives us the American ladies. It doesn't give us the current information for the Europeans so much.
Been so long.
Okay, so I'm going Rachel, number 1, Lauren, number 2, Viola, number 3.
And before we get to me, that's the exact same women I have.
Okay.
And since I already gave the women, I'll do my men. Hunter, because you're crazy not to. And then again, it's messed up, but I do have a lot of faith in David McGee. I think he's looking for a lot of revenge on this, and I think he'll come out well. And then Tobias I have for third. So there you go. Flo, are you ready? You got it now?
Yes. Yeah, I found it.
Okay.
Can't read it, but I've talked with Mintra about it. And
well, that's inside source. That's like inside trading.
No, my top three women: Lauren, in first, Viola in second, and Imke in third place.
Ooh.
And the man
Emma is just shaking her head. She's like, "You are so wrong."
you will see. you can pay me later. So
In donuts.
Yeah.
yes, please. Hunter, Tobias, and Dylan
Nice.
in that direction.
It's not bad at all. All right, Beth.
Oh man, this is so hard. Okay, so the women, I'm going to go with Viola, again, because of that travel factor. So, and then Lauren Weeks and Rachel. The men's side, that second, third place, that's going to be such a good battle. I'm Hunter first, and then I'm going to say Tobias and Dave Magida third.
Flo, I think you sold her on Tobias today.
Yeah. You can have him. You can get him.
If you
I will sell him from my team.
If you take Hunter out of the equation, the competition level is unreal. It can go anywhere. And I mean, one, that's just kudos to Hunter, just shows how amazing of an athlete he is, but also just shows what great athletes we have coming in. Some of the ones I'm very interested in, and let's go through Flo's team here. Joshua, I'm really interested to see him go after hearing you talk about him and his CrossFit ability. And Imke, I think that's a wild pick. Like she's
a great runner.
She's one of the best runners. I would say she's the best runner in the women's field.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Em.
I've just got some data here. Sorry for putting in. So actually, is it Nelly? Flo? Is it Nelly? Is that how you pronounce it? Do you know her?
Nelly?
Yeah,
Nele.
Lang
You
or
mean, yeah, Nele. It's called Nele.
Nelly. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So her and Laura are actually the only two runners to get all of their runs, or the females to get all of their runs under 4.5 minutes. Imke has got 7 of them, but 1 of them under 4 minutes. So they're all consistently under 4.5 minutes. But Lauren Weeks has actually done a faster one at 3 minutes 09, which was her first kilometer in the
that might have
US.
been the one race though where that first lap was short.
Yes, that's the point. The first lap is not always with full kilometer. It's sometimes you have only like 800 meters or a little bit less. So the first round is not always 1,000 meters.
That was at the US Championships. So it could well have been. They did. Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was that one or the one where they were out chasing Renee, because
Renee went out in I think that it was the same one, but yeah.
Yeah, because
So,
Renee did the whole race in the first lap. But, so I'm really interested to see that. I am interested to see some of how the travel affects people. So if we go through the teams here, let's see. Flo, you have Tobias, and then you're gonna have to help me out with the name. Rebecca. No, you got to say the last name because I'm not going to do it.
What was the last name? Who did I pick?
Rebecca.
Yes, Rebecca, Imke.
Yeah, and Joshua Witcher.
Tobias and Joshua.
All right, and then I have Rachel, David Magida, the Land Shark, and Sarah Colty. Beth, you have Hunter, Lauren, Dylan, Scott, and Marcus Friesen. And Emma has Team UK with Viola, Jade, Tom Hogan, and Linda Muir. And just reading that off, I really like Bethany's chances.
I do. Yeah.
I'm just looking at it going, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you think about it, all of her picks except Marcus, we all picked for podiums. You know, Dylan, Scott, Lauren Weeks, Hunter. Oh, sorry. I didn't pick Dylan for a podium. Sorry, Dylan. I got Tobias in there. And David's been such a great supporter. I have to pick him. You know, he's just he's been so good at this. But I think, I like best chances, and overall, I'm just really excited for the event. Is there anything in closing you guys want to say about it coming up, or anything you want to mention? Emma, do you want to mention My Zone a little bit there?
Oh no, not at all. No, just that my zone are sponsoring. They will be there, and they're in the activation area for the physical fitness test. So I won't be there, but Hubertus and Johannes will be there. And I'm very envious because I wish I was there. Good luck to everybody.
Right. And Flo, you're racing. Are you doing anything else on the weekend, or you just focus so much on your race where you're going to run, I assume, a 60 flat? Yes.
No
We will
comment.
see. No comment. No.
When was the last time you had a donut?
The last time?
Yeah.
4 weeks or 5 weeks. Yes.
Saturday night.
And usually I eat every day at least one donut. So that's
So
a long
Saturday
time.
night?
Yes, 100%.
All right,
On the
Beth,
podium, I will be on the podium and eating my donuts.
Oh, I hope to see that picture, buddy. All right, Beth, why don't you close us out?
Yeah, thanks so much, Flo and Emma, for joining us, and good luck to all the athletes at Hyrox this weekend. We look forward to watching it.